Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event. With your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
The Guru back again after 2 weeks off. God, did we miss you? For Mackenzie Dern taking on Yan Xiaonan, UFC Vegas 61, also known as UFC Fight Night 211, and UFC on ESPN Plus 69, baby. We're here. We're ready. We're locked and loaded, especially since we don't have a card next week. What the is going on? But it doesn't matter because right now we got a good friend in the building. He is somebody that we've been watching cash bets on his YouTube channel for a long time, right? He's out here killing it. FanDuel, DraftKings, right? Play and Fades Sports on YouTube. Gambles Gordo on Twitter. Gordo Gambles. No, either way, man. What the fuck is good? Gordo Gambles, our boy.
I gotta sort out my names, don't I? Eh?
Dude, it's got me all this. Which one do you actually prefer? Gambles? It has to be Gordo Gambles over Gambles.
It's
Gordo.
Gordo Gambles, yeah.
It's sure. Gordo Gambles, but on Twitter you're Gambles Gordo, right?
I have no idea how that happened. I don't know.
Maybe you were enjoying some of the Chronic when you were making it, man.
Oh, for sure.
You can always enjoy the Chronic. Let's go, baby.
Let's get it. Gordo is somebody that's out here cashing tickets, man. He's got his own show on Pub Sports as well. Pub Sports Radio. If you guys know Clint, you got to know Pub Sports.
Here it is. Follow this channel, guys. Plays and Fades Sports. There it is.
Get it.
That's it right there. Let's go, baby. And shout out always in the chat as always. Daz, Gordo, best guess ever. Let's go. You know, we get the best guests. Come on, guys. You know it. That's why we had to have Gordo on. And shout out Mushroom. Yo, we got a free Mushroom. I've been talking with StreamYard. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing on StreamYard. I have no idea what the fuck I was doing when I blocked fucking Mushroom by accident in the chat. But guys, make up for it.
Let's not rehash old news here.
Yeah, get that chat bumping.
We got to get into really what's most important here. And that's Gordo's team, the Bills, taking an L against the Miami Dolphins.
No, come on.
He has no idea.
I did not sign up for this.
No, he did not.
No,
so little did you guys know that when I entered backstage, I got chirped for my Crosby jersey too. You want to take a rip at these two on the side?
Yeah, listen, we obviously have some sports beef, so I'm hoping the beef kind of continues, honestly. So we have a little bit of a fiery show. Right? Very excited to see what kind of spots you have here.
What up, the right things? Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you hopping in the show.
First timer, baby.
Hell yeah,
coming in, baby. Love it.
Appreciate you.
Let's get after it, guys. Right? Do we have to delay any further? I don't want to make you go through that.
I mean,
dude, the Dolphins look fucking pretty damn good, though.
But let's be real here. Everyone has to take an early season letdown, and I think we're gonna see Josh Allen come through. But hey, this is not a football show, and Guru, we could talk about your Giants all day too on Monday night, my friend. So yeah, let's keep this party rolling here before you get too excited. And we got Mackenzie Dern versus Yan Xiaonan. Look at this, look at that Gordo Gambles. Look at that over there. Oh yeah. So we got our special guest, and
wait, him or his logo? What are you oohing and ahhing?
I was talking about the logo. It did look good, but I mean Gordo over there, man, looking suave. So it's time to make some money over here because we had a week off. I might have blew a couple dollars trying to fade Yanni on Contender Series the week prior, and things didn't go so hot. So we need to get it back this weekend, okay? So we're going to start off, and we've got Mackenzie Dern versus Yan Xiaonan. It's minus 230 Dern, plus 195 Xiaonan. The over 2.5 at minus 135, under 2.5 at plus 105. It's pretty interesting for women's MMA, especially at 115, and especially for a 5-round fight. So ultimately, though, I think it depends on which side you end up on for which way you end up playing that over-under. And Mackenzie Dern at minus 230, that's just not good enough for me. I'm really trying to stay away from playing any juice at this point, especially if there's no line value to be had, like positive EV or anything like that. Like if you think the line's going to go from minus 200 to minus 400, like maybe you throw a small parlay. But right now, I just can't. This line's not sliding anymore. Okay, we got minus 230. This is where it's going to sit, maybe a couple points. And like Dern, I just can't do it. So we got to go prop hunting immediately on my end. And that's where under 2.5 at plus 105. Well, hey, if you think Mackenzie Dern wins, all of her finishes in the UFC have been round one submissions. And if you want to protect yourself and be like, oh, like, what if she just positionally dominates and goes for the knockout for whatever reason, you could like play inside the distance. But like, Guru, I think we're going to have a good angle here. So I'm going to let you take it from here because I think, I could ramble on, but, I think you got some good points too.
Well, I certainly hope so. Thank you. Listen, this fight is very, very interesting. Like you said, we have Mackenzie Dern at -230, which if we go to our little odds calculator, right, that's a 70% implied win probability. That means she has to win more than 70% of the time to make you profit, to make that a bet that you'd even consider. So no, I don't necessarily. I think maybe it's lined just about right, probably where it should be. Maybe even a little steep. So, like TB so adequately said before, you have to immediately go prop hunting. Yan Xiaonan is somebody who, right, we saw her go toe to toe basically with Marina Rodriguez despite the size and reach advantage. So she's certainly like no walk in the park. She's a badass. She can strike. I think the problem is though, is at least from what I saw on the tape, she doesn't necessarily maintain distance. So when somebody like Dern, all she wants to do is throw heavy overhands and crash into you, I think Jan is going to kind of let that happen, like especially early. So if Mackenzie, by any means, especially in a small cage, right, in the apex, if Mackenzie can by any means, we've seen how bad her offensive wrestling is, but we've also seen that you don't necessarily, right? Jillian Robertson, somebody with not very good offensive wrestling. Like, you just need to slip on a banana peel just one time, catch one kick, overextend on one punch. I'm not convinced Jan's going to be able to keep the fight on the feet for 25 minutes. And I think what we've I don't even have to think that. What we've seen on tape is when Yan Janon's on her back, it's a flipped over turtle. We watched Carla Esparza cut through the guard like butter and just rain down elbows. One of our best dog plays. That made no fucking sense. Carla Esparza was an underdog in that fight. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting. I think the way that we see it is if we lean the Mackenzie Dern side, which I believe that we do, I think Mackenzie probably gets it done early. So Dern round 1, round 2, grouping plus 150. Because honestly, I think if it gets past that, they're sweaty. It's on the feet. You'd be shredding up your fucking Mackenzie Dern money line ticket. I'll tell you that much. Because it's way. This is on the feet. I don't even know if it's 50-50. Like Jan is probably the line should maybe be flipped if it was just a striking battle. So, without further ado, we got to hear from Gordo. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, this is an interesting fight. And before I get into these, I just want to ask you guys straight up: does this fight being close to the media have any impact on you guys? Are you guys gonna be watching this on your Oculus or anything, or like what's going on here?
That is so fun, right? Mark Zuckerberg, if you guys don't know, we believe has rented out the Apex. We don't know whether if it's just for him or his family, and friends, or some sort of business VR venture, but it's a fucking weird situation happening here, right?
You know why he's doing it, man? He's doing it so we can get a good
You're
look
muted
at
if you did want to
Dern.
talk. Oh, yeah, right. He wants to see Mackenzie Dern right up close and personal. So then his wife definitely won't be there. You definitely want some VR experience for Mackenzie Dern. That's probably a good reason to do that. It's a perfect person to try it out on there.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's a spot where I do think that this is a Mackenzie Dern showcase fight. I think it is her that they're trying to promote here. And all jokes aside, I do think that if you are holding Yan Xiaonan ticket, you aren't really relying on the skills of Yan to win. You're more so betting against Mackenzie Dern. You're betting against Mackenzie Dern's ability to get it to the ground. You're betting against her ability to make improvements on the feet. And the one thing I will say about Mackenzie Dern is she has been making improvements everywhere from her striking, even to her wrestling. And I think that she implies an ounce of that same game plan she had against Tecia Torres last time out. Yan is done. I'm sorry. And it's not one where I want to lay juice on women's MMA, especially in these main events, but it's really hard for me to see going any other way than Dern really needing only one takedown. Of course, let's give Xiaonan more credit. She is going to be the better striker of the two. She is going to be winning the minutes on the feet, but I don't know if that gap is going to be as wide as other people are saying it, but listening to a lot of content, a lot of people are saying it's a striker versus grappler. But I do think Dern has made some improvements, and she's been durable enough to do it. And you know what, man? I like Mackenzie Dern in the spot. I'm a DraftKings player first. I'm a DFS player first. And
give us that play. We want to hear a little bit about that, because me personally, I know absolutely nothing about DraftKings type playing. So I'm certainly interested to hear your thoughts in terms of that as well. I'm not even sure what our listeners, if they like that too. I'm sure they do. If they're gamblers, they fucking like it. So what would your thought be in terms of that?
Well, before I get into that, let's just give you a quick breakdown of what's going on with DraftKings here. I get my chance to rant. Here we go. This is a mistake for you guys, but I'm a DraftKings player first. Before I ever started betting, I played DraftKings. I love the lineups. I love it, all that stuff. I played it all the time. I won a couple tournaments, won the Ironman there. And then just of May this year, they took it out where I live, and they no longer have it in my home province, actually. So I talk about it a lot still because I'm a fan of it, but I definitely cannot play it in my own right. So a lot of drama there. But DraftKings wise, I think that all the upside is on the Mackenzie Dern side. And on DraftKings, you want lots of volume, lots of finishes, lots of control time, lots of takedowns. You get points for takedowns, knockdowns. And this is the reason why you want Mackenzie Dern, because I don't see much finish equity on the Yan side. I don't see much. How you doing? I don't see anything else really than Dern with more upside.
We're playing around.
So, I think I look okay here. Bigger screen, but all this to say that I do think that Dern is not only the side on the DraftKings side of thing, but also in the betting line. I like her to finish. I like her to submit her. Like you said, turtle on the mat for Yan. I think she only needs one takedown, gets her out of there. I'm on Mackenzie Dern in the main event.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, so I'm not sure if people know this or not, but Mackenzie Dern trains with the likes of Chito Vera and Luke Rockhold with Jason Perillo. And that's why you've seen so many improvements in her striking. And I just want to say inversely, just to throw it out there, I think I'll feel better once I say it. If you're on the Yan Xiaonan side, the only play in my mind is decision only.
Oh, for sure.
You get your money back if she gets finished.
Yeah,
she's not going to finish Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern is tough.
Okay, Guru.
So if you're on Yan Xiaonan, you play Yan Xiaonan finish only. You play Yan Xiaonan decision only minus 135.
That's interesting.
Yeah, not something I'm interested in. For myself personally, I like Mackenzie Dern early.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
I will say, like the Guru, I'm glad that you got that Perillo point out there, because anyone that works with him definitely makes progressions from camp to camp specifically. And Gordo, thanks for bringing
the striking.
Up, yeah, overall that, you got to expect someone that's hungry and a competitor like this. We saw her. You see some fighters come back after, just to keep it real on the physiological side. She came back from giving birth and she has kept improving and getting better physically and as a fighter since then. So I think you have to assume that she is going to keep on getting better. So Gordo, what were you going to say, man?
Oh, I was just going to say, if you are looking to play the Mackenzie Dern side, and you for me, I want to cover all my bases. Of course, I do think she finishes her, but I don't necessarily know if I want to get cute. I wouldn't play the submission line. I'll tell you that right now. The submission line is 5 points different than the inside the distance. That protects you from the spam KO, the cut victory, if you want to be Carlos Barza, all this stuff. I do think Dern wins. I do think she gets her out of there, but be careful because it is women's MMA. It is a 5-round main event. I'm just going to play it safe with either Dern on DraftKings or Dern inside the distance.
I almost want to go crazy with the side. Like, I feel like if Dern gets it, she's got to showcase herself here, right? Like, if it's going over 2.5 rounds, I think it's a problem for Dern. Like, I think it's not going her way. Like, or just not, she could even be possibly winning, but just not going the way that she wants. She wants an early sub. Under 2.5 is plus money, which is to me kind of strange because they're lining a women's MMA fight that's a 5-round fight at 2.5. So they kind of already think that there's going to be a finish, but they're not fully committing to it. So
I don't think you could finish Mackenzie Dern easily on the feet. I think you might be able to touch her a bit and like hurt her at times, but she's shown to have a good chin, be able to take strikes, and actually she she's kind of dangerous in her own right. I mean, she hurt Tisha Torres at the end of round 1, and that's kind of what won her that round on 2 out of 3 scorecards to get the split decision in that last fight. And the other thing I'll say about Dern is that she's very opportunistic, and I really like that round 1 or round 2 for the plus 150 because I was just
about to say, dude, I almost think I like the under 2.5 more. Like, as I think about it with my lizard brain, like under 2.5, you get the extra time, you get an extra you get an extra half a round, and you get both sides in case like a Brian Ortega situation happens.
Let's fight not to start round 4.
Start round 4.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Oh, now you're thinking with your noodle.
Well, because if it's already plus money for 2.5,
minus 115 on DraftKings.
I was about to say, why the fuck doesn't FanDuel have their lineup yet? Yeah. By the way, really weird. FanDuel has their over under set at 4.5. Over 4.5 plus 140, under 4.5 minus 180. Very strange.
All right. So, I mean, any final thoughts on this one before we get moving along?
I think we beat a dead horse with this one.
Yeah. So, hey, guys, take Dern. I mean, maybe you want to get cute, maybe you don't, but that's the moral of the story.
I just want to look at Mackenzie Dern.
If you see Mackenzie Dern minus 230 on our bet. Fucking good.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hit him with a sack of oranges.
Please,
Uncle
Weezy, please just show up to our house. You tried with Bellator with us this last week, and we just didn't listen. So just please keep on showing up with those oranges. We'll learn our lesson at some point. So here we go. Next fight, we got Randy Brown versus Francisco Trinaldo. Minus 315 for Brown, plus 260 Trinaldo. The over 2.5 at minus 150, under 2.5 at plus 120. Randy Brown is going to have a 6-inch height advantage. And as far as a reach advantage, I mean, Randy Brown, dude, he's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage, 5 inches in the leg reach. He's going to be 12 years younger. I mean, just on those numbers alone, Guru is starting to, get a little excited over there.
That's me licking my lips.
He's good. Okay. Jeez, I wasn't sure what you were doing, but so listen, as we were breaking down this fight, I kind of expected like the Randy Brown inside the distance to be like the favored line, and to kind of go ahead and see, as I'm looking through the methods, it's like over 2.5 is minus 150, and the Randy Brown by decision is the most favored winning method. I'm like, I start getting like an itch. I'm like, okay, well, Trinaldo's never been knocked out, but that doesn't mean he hasn't been hurt. Also, Muslim Salakhov is able to take him down. Why couldn't Randy Brown? And Francisco Trinaldo, you've got how many submission losses? What is that? 3? Why can't Randy Brown make that 4? I mean, Randy Brown's got 5 submission wins. He's got 6 knockouts, 4 decisions. So he's bound to make up either a submission or a decision at this point to catch up there. And you give Randy Brown submission at plus 500 compared to plus 120 by decision or plus 240 by knockout. Just as far as being a value boy, I love Randy Brown. Money line at minus 315. I don't love it. So if you see that on my bet sheets, once again, smack me. But if you see a little quarter unit play on the submission, all right. And maybe you want to do a little Randy Brown and over 1.5, like the little Chronic Combat special. I'm going to go look into what that line is. But Guru, how about you go and take us away here?
Yeah, man, you make some really, really, really good points. I almost don't want to follow you up, man. That was some high level shit. You know how much I like to shit on your greasy sub props, but that one makes a little too much sense to me.
Oh no! Oh my God! I have permission this time.
Dude, you've got me interested. The only thing, I mean, has Trinaldo he's never been knocked out, right?
He's been hurt,
and he's been hurt. Which you're in a fight, that happens.
Randy.
He gets submitted. His last submission loss is to Kevin Lee in 2017. That's just like a weird ass fight. And I mean, a Kimura to Peter Hallman, UFC Fight Night 28. Dude is old as dirt. Yeah, man. He's fuck. Yeah, I like it, man. I really do. Randy Brown is safe, I think, this week. I really do. I think he's kind of one of the most safe plays. Like, I don't think he's gonna have like a Ode Osborne type situation where he just throws a spam knee out of nowhere and just gets fucking clipped. I guess that can always happen. It's MMA, right? You know how I feel about this, guys, if you and gals, if you listen to the show. Age, reach, height, you got those things, you already win 60-65% of the fights, and you know how I feel when the tape matches up with that. Tape matches up with that stat, you know I'm in. I feel like Randy Brown should style on him here. It's a showcase fight for Randy Brown, and you see it by the fact that it's the co-main event. Why else would Trinaldo be in the co-main event? Well, he's the B-side. That's why. This is a good fight for Randy Brown. You should be able to get it done. Again, like you said, fading that narrative of maybe a knockout is super interesting. Because as you see, Trinaldo has a decent chin, and I certainly like that sub shot. So, Gordo, what do you got, buddy?
I'm with you guys. I think this is Randy Brown season. Rude boy time is what it is. It's a weird one because Francisco Trinaldo, although he is 42, he doesn't have that reach, the age, the height. He doesn't have the raw.
Homie's 44.
Has power. 44. Jesus. It's almost as bad as Alexei Oleinik, which we'll talk about later. But you know what? I'll say it right away. I am scarred from betting Jai Herbert back in 2020 and having him come back and haunt me. But I do think this is Randy Brown season all day. I think he's the better fighter. For me, I'm not getting as cute as you guys are. I think that despite a pretty volatile card, this may be a decent parlay piece. I don't necessarily like to dive them too often, but I think Randy Brown is a decent parlay piece here. I think he's the better fighter at range. I think he has more volume, more minute winning. He's younger, more athleticism, better grappling. Like the advantages for him just keep adding up. I think Randy Brown's a better fighter. But I talked about it on the Pub Sport radio show too, it's harder for me to take him over other fighters because he doesn't have that same certain path to victory. He can win this any way he wants, really. I would not be surprised if he stayed at range and won a decision, right? So I think Randy Brown is a safe play. However, I don't know if I'd be running to hammer the minus 300 or hammer him on DraftKings kind of thing. I just think he's more of a parlay piece, help you make some value throughout the night, which I don't really say that often. So I do like him to win this fight, though.
All right, Guru. So I have a proposition.
Oh, baby. Hit
Gordo. Me. Okay, listen.
Uh-oh.
Maybe we are allowed like 1 unit a week for a really greasy parlay of all the guys that we would want to throw in. And then it's like, then at least,
I would sooner be talking some sort of major 9-unit play on Randy Brown straight up than whatever you're saying to me.
Wow.
I know we have Mushroom watching. Mushroom just DM me saying he's watching. He's blocked somewhere. He wants those parlays. I know he does.
Yes.
So he had a big one. He had a week's worth of lunch money. Shout out Mushroom.
Yeah.
And his epic lunches.
Night?
No, I think it was last week or whatever it was.
Oh, I know he hit one last night.
Oh, wait, no, it was last night. No, it was last night. Jesus. No, it was last night. There was a Dana White Contender Series. I don't know. He making a lot of money. That guy, he's eating good and betting good. So shout out Mushroom.
The best, man. Yo, so fucking, all right, we're going to move on to the next fight. But for the people that don't know why we keep shouting out Mushroom, we had the fake Andrew Tate and fake whatever come in the chat.
You had to block 2 people and you blocked 3. It was very challenging for you. I know.
So as someone typed into the chat and it entered in the chat, I clicked to hit block this person and it moved on the screen. So I messed up, man. I clicked on Mushroom's name by accident.
I don't think you feel bad enough.
No, I'm the one that's been emailing StreamYard all week. So it's like the fuck, man. I'm working on it. But here we go. We got Raoni Barcelos versus Trevin Jones. And guys, if you haven't by now, please throw a little comment in the chat, throw a little like on the video, subscribe to our channel. And once again, make sure you're subscribing. We got the Plays and Fades Sports. Make sure you guys follow. Get over to that channel. It's Gordo Gambles.
Right.
He's the dog, okay? So now that you've done all that, you've hit subscribe everywhere. You've liked the show. All right, we're all caught up. Good. All right. So Raoni Barcelos minus 230. Trevin Jones plus 195. Over 2.5 is minus 150. Under 2.5 plus 125. Barcelos and Jones, man. I think Barcelos is going to be 3 years older here. They're going to be the same height, but Jones does have a 3-inch reach advantage. And I do think that Jones has a bit of an athleticism and cardio advantage at this point. I think Barcelos could be explosive for moments in the fight. And I think technically he is very capable. and he's shown that he can fight at a very high level. I just don't trust him to do it for a full 15 minutes. And I mean, you see Victor Henry come in and just put on a pace. And Barcelos, like, not that it was like even a super complicated pace. It was like the same type of combos over and over. And, you know, Barcelos just was overwhelmed. And Henry is a dog. He's a vet.
It was even more than the pace. It was Barcelos was too willing. He wasn't moving anymore. He was standing in front of Victor Henry, who was just the quicker fighter at that moment. You just kind of saw what I feel like what you saw from Hani was a first step in decline. Like, I don't want to take anything away from Victor Henry because that was a world-class performance, but that's what I saw.
Yeah, and even, you know, Guru does his best to discredit Timur Valiev all the time, but, you know, Hani Barcelos also loses a split decision, or what was it, a majority decision? Things got a little sketchy. It was almost a draw, but, you know, Barcelos comes out on the losing side, even though he lands a couple of knockdowns in round 3. You know, he gets outpaced. That's the thing. And the one thing I will say is, as we go and look at the stats of Trevin Jones.
They both have fought Timur Valiev, I'm sure you remember.
Oh, yes. Don't MMA math me here.
No. No. But what I will say is that,
remember, Jones literally TKOs Valiev badly, sleeps him bad, but the fight gets overturned for a little marijuana. The most illicit of all performance enhancing drugs.
Right. I think
he probably should be in jail. Like, what?
Probably.
You put that
I don't see how you could ever let him back.
Put that guy's life at risk for using such a strong performance enhancing drug before the fight.
my word. Well, okay, so at the end of the day, though, I mean, Trevin Jones, he's faced like the highest level of competition.
I'm not trying to MMA math you too much, but like that's kind of like that's some pretty heavy MMA math. What do you have to say about that?
There's two halves to that story, though. Valiev was beating the brakes off of Jones early on.
Yes.
All right, there we go.
So right, and then I think that's more of a cardio dump on the Valiev side than Jones being superior.
That's good. That's what I want to hear.
Right.
That's exactly what I want to hear.
Well, I will say, I mean, Trevin Jones has faced the highest of levels of competition so far in the UFC. And you don't even say that as like, oh, back in the day. It's like, no, I mean, he steps in. The first guy he faces is Timur Valiev on like, 2 days notice or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then he gets Mario Bautista. And once again, I mean, he comes out a little, Guru, dog, chill. And then Mario Bautista, he comes out and he goes and knocks him out in the second round after losing the first and being low volume. So then he comes out and it's Javid Basharat in his last fight. And before that, it was Sadyukov Kakramanov. Where is there an easy fight mixed in there? And he comes out and now he's got Barcelos. But I think compared to all those other guys, if we're going to do any sort of MMA math, this is the lower end of the competition here for Trevin Jones, at least from a cardio standpoint and from, you know, being in his prime. So Trevin Jones here, I think you're getting him at a plus 195. Why not? Why not? Go ahead. Tell me why not now. I'm done.
No, I won't tell you why not. I agree completely. I think you're right in terms of what do they say? Schedule what do they call that? I'm blanking.
Level of competition?
Thank you, God. Jeez Louise. Level of competition. You have the clear edge and level of competition to Mr. Jones. And I also think that this line makes no sense. Like, kind of regardless. You see on the stats, I mean, yeah, they're kind of heavily in favor of Barcelos, but I think in terms of the way they actually fight, and then you also kind of have to think that Trevin Jones' stats are absolutely skewed by the like specifically probably the Kakramanov fight, but even the Basharat fight, that neither of which went his way very well. So you know those stats start to look kind of bad after those two fights. I think these guys are way, way, way more even than the line indicates, which means you have to play the dog. So dog or pass. So yeah, 100%.
What would you line the fight at then?
Let me see here. If I pull out my handy dandy odds calculator, I'm thinking more like minus 180.
Okay.
Minus 170. I don't think it's too far off. Like Barcelos has has shown to be I mean, it's all over the tape. I mean, it's all over our page right in front of us. Like his stats are overwhelmingly in his favor. He's been a top level fighter for a while. But
I don't think that he actually holds an advantage in the grappling department, though. And that might be kind of crazy to say, but I think Trevin Jones is going to be stronger. I think Trevin Jones has better cardio. And I think Trevin Jones at this stage of his career is going to be able to stuff like the easy, like level changes that Barcelos uses to kind of change pace. But Barcelos, because of his cardio, can't really sell out in those exchanges anymore. I mean, even against a guy like Khalid Taha, I mean, he should have had him finished or whatever. But I mean, round 3, you see Taha start to like come back and you can't put him away where you're supposed to be this elite high level grappler or striker. Like that stands out to me. So you're not finishing Trevin Jones. I don't think he's finishing Trevin Jones. We've seen Trevin Jones go the distance with everybody here now. I mean, he'll get hurt.
Well, not Saeed.
Okay. Yeah. You're right.
Very end
okay.
of round 3.
You're right.
Dude, he was getting brutalized though.
You're right.
So
my bad.
No,
I for sure.
When it was if you're betting the over cashes. So
yeah, I think that's my thing. So if you don't ultimately jump on the dog side with us, take the over 2.5 at -150, or the fight goes the distances like -135, -130. So that's where I end up. But I'll have a little dog play on Jones because I do like him. I do. Maybe I have a little bias, but you're giving me +195. I'll play a biased one at that rather than like, oh, this is my favorite guy at -400, so let me throw him in a 5-unit parlay. But Gordo, what are you feeling, man?
Yeah, I jumped on Raoni early. I only have 3 bets locked in. Raoni is one of them. -188. That's what I grabbed on him. I got him a bit earlier. I got him last week, actually. I think this is just a level spot. And whereas Jones is a very good, well-rounded fighter who uses his cardio very well, I think that he is a good fighter. And I think there's steps and improvements for him to make that I haven't necessarily seen from him in the past. And he relies largely on durability and power. And whereas I do think he is, I'm going to change your wording a bit there, TB. I think he's a better wrestler and not a better grappler, if we put it that way, because he is very powerful.
Yes.
I think that a lot of these aspects of the mixed martial artists that you're going to give the advantage to Raoni. I think that he has more output. I think he can be winning the minutes on the feet. I think he's going to have better in and out movements, better technicality. I also think he has the better jiu-jitsu on the ground. I think he could definitely be stuffed or reversed with the strength of Jones. I think the really only advantage you're going to give Jones in this spot is power and durability. Sorry, power and cardio, because I do think that Raoni is decently durable. And for that's really not going to really get me there, even though the line is getting really nice now. I could probably hedge out for some decent cash. But what I will say instead is I think that you're relying, again, more on not the better fighter, but for a downfall of the favorite here, which I don't mind, especially at this big plus money number. And I would love to see Jones succeed. I really like Jones, but I just think this is this fight where you're giving me the better fighter, and at -188, I capped it where the line is now. So I did throw some money on that. I do like Raoni Barcelos this week.
Okay, so wait, maybe I would think about joining your side here because not like as a big play, whatever, but if you combine our idea of over 2.5 and Raoni Barcelos is +100, so it's not the classic chronic combat play, and it's not Raoni by decision. Like if you want to play the Raoni side and get some value, like my little play is still going to be Trevin Jones. Whatever, but like I can get behind what you're saying, and like the fact that you got the line where Guru would have put it right in that -180 range.
That is where
that is pretty nice. That you were that. I love how you asked that question and then brought it up later. That was nice foreshadowing. So that was cool. Yeah. So, but hey, that's where I think you guys might be able to squeeze out some value if you end up on the Barcelos side.
Yeah, at this line personally, it's not a fight I'm super interested in taking, and what Gordo says is a good point. Like we were on Trevin Jones for whatever dumb reason against Saeed Kakramanov. Like that was a bad bet, like a really bad one, and he didn't look very good at all. And then he comes out in the next fight against Javi Basharat and doesn't look better. Like like Gordo said, like you're not seeing the improvements that you want to. That being said, it's kind of tough to display those improvements against that level of competition. But you also wonder if Raoni Barcelos is kind of we were ranting and raving about him before he lost to Victor Henry. So could be a very nice bounce back spot for Raoni, but certainly not one that I'm looking to lay chalk on. I really do. I think think the fight goes the distance. I don't think either of them finish each other.
Here we go. Right. The fight everyone's been waiting for. Sadiq Yusuff versus Don Shainis. Yeah, super short notice. Don in his interview. I mean, right now it's minus 900 Yusuff plus 625 Shainis. Over 1.5 is minus 150. Under 1.5 plus 120. Watching Shainis' last bunch of fights, the dude comes out front foot going crazy. Yusuff, he's got like a 6.5 inch reach advantage. Going to be 3 inches taller. Shainis legitimately said, I've been ready for 4 months prior to this, and I just went on vacation to my family for the past few weeks, and like I couldn't say no to the opportunity, but I wish it would have come at another time. And you know he's going to come out hell on wheels and look for a finish. He said the weight cut is probably going to be the most difficult I've had, but I'm not too far off where I would normally be. You know, James Lynch, man, shout out. He always gets these guys on great interviews after they get like their debut announcement. You always get great info about kind of where they're at going into it. So all it tells me is that if you want to be on the Yusuff side, you got to take him inside the distance. So I'll do the reverse chronic special for Yusuff in under 1.5 plus 130. Or you just take this fight instead at under 1.5 at plus 120. Only 10 points difference, just in case Shainis pulls off the unthinkable. And you're still getting plus money. I don't think it even makes it to round 2. But even so, you got a little coverage if it does. And what if fight not to start round 3? What if you could even get plus money on that? We're going to have to look into it. But that's the TB angle. So how about you, Guru? What you got cooking here?
Minus 125 for fight to not start.
Beat me to it.
Yes, let's go. Got to beat you at something here, Gordo. Yeah, not really too much for me to say. Don Shainis, I'm not even I mean, he might be UFC level competition. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but, you know, not going to hate the guy. Certainly happy for him that he gets the shot. But like TB said, and I guess he's quoting the guy himself, if he didn't take this spot, he probably wasn't getting a contract. Like, maybe he gets a Dana White Contender Series shot type thing next year. Like, he's 31, so it was kind of now or never. Cage Titans. What's that other one? This one called? It's FAC. I forget it's James Krause's promotion.
Got you.
Fight
Nebraska.
Fight Alliance. No, not Nebraska.
What, Kansas?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Where?
Kansas.
Okay.
No, Missouri. Why'd you say they are in Missouri? They're in Kansas City, Missouri.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
I would have expected this from Gordo because he's Canadian, not from you that know your states. You got me all confused.
I'm sorry. I've
been smoking through the podcast here. Anyway, Fight Alliance Championship. He's been a winner in. He's fought in Cage Titans, which is another very good Northeast promotion here. Wrestling heavy, explosive. Wants to come out and come get you. Decent cardio, good top control. Poor striking defense, gets rocked bad in his last fight to start the fight and comes back. And the dude is, I don't know, maybe he was just sad that he had gotten hurt in the first place. I don't know. Dude was done, completely cooked. And Don gets it done. So good for him. He's tough. But Sadiq is a whole other animal. This is literally, they just picked whatever guy they could fucking get him here. So I like TB's thought here. I think Don does come out like a hell on wheels, and I think this fight does end quickly. At least it's a good shot to take on a minus 900. Otherwise, don't fucking play it.
I am on this fight is baffling. Okay, let me just put some things out there. I think Sadiq Yusuff wins this fight. And there's that's not a hot take. I'm going to put that out there. I do think that it's not going to be as much of a killing as people expect it to be. How's that? I think this fight reminds me perfectly of Onama versus Armfield. Do you guys remember that fight? That was a fight where you had this hyped up prospect in Onama, a guy who knows the killer, who they know is going to win, who is big favored for a reason. But the guy on short notice isn't as bad as you would expect him to be. And you know what I was on in that fight? I was on the over. And I'm kind of leaning towards the over here as well. I know Sadiq Yusuff has fought some much better competition recently, but he has been a decision machine. He knows he's able to pick his shots. And Don has shown some decent durability, right? So I'm not going to be betting this fight. I'm not going to be going against Sadiq Yusuf. I think this is a fight set up for him to win. However, if this line gets anywhere near this -120 mark of over 1.5, I might have to play it just because based off of principle, really. I think Don's tough and it's going to be an absolute dogfight, but I do think Sadiq wins this.
That's interesting. Because I at one point, like you said, like he is a tough SOB. Like he keeps battling back through shit, but him getting like literally staggered so bad. I think it was by Bryce Picard on YouTube in his last fight. Like literally, like bro, nearly falls on his face in the first 30 seconds. Right?
What about
like
that's him going out guns ablazing? Do you think there's going to be some UFC octagon jitters? Right, he's going to be a bit slower.
I don't even necessarily think that. I just think that if against Sadiq Yusuf, like you're not gonna come, like you don't come out tentative.
Oh,
especially
you don't.
So you're gonna come at him crazy. And what's Sadiq? He's a like 3. He's not just 1 level above him. He might be like 3 levels above him. This might be like a squash match, and you're seeing that in the line. The problem is, and that's the tough part, and I understand it, we haven't seen Sadiq squash people. It's it's not really his way. He's just not that kind of fighter. He takes his time. We've seen him kind of even what was that, the Andre Feely fight, right, where he's winning the first 2 rounds and just is out of gas after grappling and loses the 3rd round. Loses to Arnold Allen, but like Jesus Christ, man, how good is fucking Arnold Allen? Gonna fight Calvin Kattar. I'm so excited for that fight. And he whoops Alex Caceres, who, the UFC was, he's been the UFC's bounce back guy. He's kind of like a Jeremy Stevens guy. He's just kind of always floating around in the division. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's probably why.
I think
you haven't seen him dominate. He beat Gabriel Benitez in round 1 and Suman Mkhitaryan. He might be this level kind of guy.
He might be, but I think we've spent enough time on a fight where it's -900 versus +625. So I'm going to take the steering wheel here and bring us right along to our next fight. We got John Castaneda, the Sexy Mexi, versus what is it, Daniel Willie Cat Santos? Is it Willie Cat or Wiley Cat?
I think it's Willie Cat. I think it's Willie Cat.
Willie Cat. Okay, cool. So we got Willie Cat, man, +160, Sexy Mexi -190, and then looking at the breakdown as far as like the height and reach and everything, we got Castaneda is going to be 3 years older, and then Santos is going to have the 1-inch height advantage, but Castaneda is going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. So I'm curious to see how they match up at the face-offs, just in general. Santos, I think he's shown to have, a good striking ability and like a willingness to definitely like wrestle, like get into grappling exchanges when the fight gets there. But Castaneda seems a little bit more boxing heavy, as Guru was pointing out to me on the tape. He's more like calf kicking and boxing than like a pure kickboxing approach. So I expect, Santos to have the more pure kickboxing style in that regard, but he's throwing like spinning shit or like doing crazy stuff. And it's like, pure chaos. But at the end of the day, I think Castaneda's got a solid ability to survive out there. I mean, he's got the 1 knockout loss on his record a while back, but all his other losses have come by decision. So the question here is like, over 2.5 -155, under 2.5 +125. I think there could be some value on the fight going the distance here.
Yeah, 100%. This is a really, really interesting fight. In terms of like John Castaneda is not like he's not fighting for a title anytime soon. Like with all due respect, like, he's a really interesting prospect. But he's somebody that like. What am I looking to even say here? Right? I mean, he's got this wide stance. He's a little too hittable. He's heavy on the lead leg, man. He just doesn't always work. He's just not the most effective at times, right? Versus Miles Johns, he probably had his career best performance, right? Other than the Eddie Wineland knockout, but not Eddie Wineland knockout isn't saying too much anymore, unfortunately. His loss to Nathaniel Wood. We know how good Nathaniel Wood is. That's really not too much to say. And beating Marcelo Rojo is a good win. So, backing on Combate anyway. So that's super interesting because that guy ends up making it to the UFC, as we know. I'm expecting John Castaneda to get his third win in the UFC, a third win in a row here in the UFC. However, I'm not playing him at -190 because I just don't necessarily. I don't know. Wiley Cat is exactly that. He's just fucking nuts, and he's gonna come crazy, and you could get hit with something. I don't think he even will because John Castaneda has shown a good way to maintain distance. And you also saw in Daniel Santos's last fight that with Julio Arce that, I mean, he literally landed like, I don't know, like 17% of his. It was horrible. Look, it's right there. 21. He landed 21% of his fucking strikes. That's horrible. Horrible. You know how tiring it is to strike, let alone strike and miss shit? He's just throwing shit and missing. It's really, really bad. And John Castaneda is patient and decently smart. And I think he's going to do a decent enough job to maintain that distance and not get clipped. I still don't trust it, though. I do like the fight to go the distance because, as you've seen, he wasn't able to put Julio Arce in the fight goes the fucking distance because he's tough. So I don't think John Castaneda puts him out. So that was a lot. What do you think, DeGordo?
Yeah, this is actually a really fun fight, though. I do think it's going to be an absolute war. I know that Castaneda has been good at keeping distance, keeping range, but I think he throws down. I think he has some fun with it. I think from an overall skill set point of view, give me Castaneda. I think he's the better fighter, more well-rounded mixed martial artist, more tools. I think that at striking range, Daniel Santos is dangerous. He's got those crazy unorthodox strikes, and you like to see them. But I think that John Castaneda is tough enough to withstand them. Been knocked out once. That was back in 2014. I think he's a better all-around mixed martial artist here. I think as the fight goes on, he's going to be able to put more and more pressure on. I think he wins this fight at a pretty high clip. At a -190 price tag, though, I don't necessarily know. Opener was -150. I would have hit that. If there's money coming in on the Castaneda side, so I may be able to get it if it gets any lower. But this is a pass fight for me, really. I think it's one you sit back and enjoy, hope for fireworks. But I don't mind the over either, but I do think John Castaneda wins this fight at a pretty high clip.
Should he be? He shouldn't be in our little sketchy. He shouldn't be part of a sketchy parlay, right? With
probably not.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Yeah, so. Not quite.
No, probably not.
Good. See, that's why we want to ask these questions to make sure nobody else makes those mistakes.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't have the finishing equity that you would look for from a greasy parlay piece. Like Brown, I think could finish it. Whereas like Castaneda, I more expect him to like outpace to a decision where like there could be slight finishing value. Like that's where I was leaning. And Mushroom DM'd me, made sure to let me know that he's got Castaneda by decision himself.
Oh, okay. I don't mind that.
I was worried about that. I needed to know. Shout out Mushroom.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, here we go. Like Santos at +1. So shout out Daz in the chat. Seems like a pick 'em to me. I can't argue with anyone taking a dog shot. And make sure you guys let us know who you like most in the chat here. We got, plenty of people watching live. Appreciate all of you. Make sure you throw a little like on the video. It goes a long way. If you want to retweet, share to your friends, that's also cool. We would appreciate that. While you're doing that, subscribe to our channel. And, while you're running around subscribing to places, once again, we got Plays and Fade Sports. So, make sure you're throwing, but we're doing a little marathon here. I'm making you work, burn those calories, click those buttons and make sure you're following all the right people. But we'll make sure we get you right along to our next fight here. And, man, this one's going to be a fucking workout just watching it, huh? I mean, I figure you got any bet on this fight? Mike Davis versus Vyacheslav Slava Claus Barshev? Ooh. Man, I mean, you're going to be bumping a little bit, I think, because shit, man. I mean, these guys know how to put on a pace, and if this thing goes to wrestling, it's going to be Scramble City. And, man, I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. Davis -180, Slava Claus +155, over 2.5 is -110, under 2.5, oddly enough, while that was -110, it's -120 for the under 2.5. Normally it would be like -110 both sides. And then Mike Davis is going to have a 1-inch height advantage, 3-inch reach advantage. Slava is going to be 1 year older. That's all like advantages in the Davis direction, but nothing like severely overwhelming besides maybe the reach. But even so, not so much. I'd like to see them face off, see what Mike Davis looks like coming off an extended layoff. He's been injured, COVID, refused to like fight with big traveling because he wasn't 100%, been focusing on his streaming. Had a lot of stuff going on and hasn't really been in the octagon so much ever since that big Mason Jones war where breaks his hand, required 8-month layoff, supposed to come back, immediately gets COVID. Make sure you check out the interviews with James Lynch because you get so many nuggets of information of why these guys haven't been out there, what's been going on behind the scenes. So seeing him as a minus 180 against a guy where, I don't expect Mike Davis to really go out there and, he's got the 2 takedowns per 15 at 45%, but he's also only got a control rate of 16%. If you're that high level of a wrestler, you'd be expecting much more control overall. No, I'm sorry. His control rate's only 7%. It's opponent control that's at 16%. Mike Davis doesn't get control. He uses it to change the tempo, as Guru was pointing out to me on the tape. Got to keep shouting him out. And it's not ever for like extended periods. So overall, what I expect is if he ever does go to those types of things, Slava does have a really good sprawl game. Oh, yeah. He has really good initial takedown defense, and he has a really good get-up game. It's just if you're really good at takedowns, you're going to keep on getting them over and over and over because Slava will let you get inside. He's like, let me think of the comparison here. It was like Jan Blachowicz against Glover. I was like, well, Jan kept on letting Jacare get inside on his hips. It's like a really good wrestler is going to be able to take advantage of that. And like maybe Mike Davis can get in on the hips at some point. It's just okay. So, anyways, moral of the story: this fight's going to take place at distance. Distance.
The distance. Listen, Mike Davis, like you said, we haven't seen him in a while. That's kind of a red flag. The fight's going to take place on the feet majority of the time. You've already stated that as well. Borshov has shown incredible takedown, not incredible takedown defense, but incredible takedown defense. Like when he gets back up, his get up game is very, very good. But no, his takedown defense is pretty porous, and that is a problem. Mike Davis is a very, very good fighter, but there is a problem, right? And it's not even just the layoff. And the problem is that we weren't exactly sure how good Mason Jones is, right? We put that war up on a pedestal because it was a great fight. And look at this kid, Mason Jones. He's a good prospect. Mason Jones is out of the UFC, guys. Before Mike Davis could return from the fight, Mason Jones has fought out his contract, and they didn't. They're good. They've seen enough. Okay.
Spicy nugget.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And then the only other person he beat was Thomas Gifford. We know that guy from around the block. Like he ain't the sauce. So Slava Claus is a good competition here, actually. So I actually think this line is way closer. So I like the fight to go the distance because I think that they're tough. I think both of these guys are tough. And what you see from Mike Davis, which is kind of troubling at times, is he punches. It's like punches in bunches, like bam, 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 explosive, and then he'll take some time off. Maybe he'll go for a takedown, but then he's still got to take some time off. Like I don't know. It might be cardio issues. It might be pacing. Like I'm not sure. Like I just think if Slava comes out, and again this guy hasn't fought in a little while, he might catch him. So
how does that cardio get affected by COVID too?
There you go. I'm not a doctor, but I can't say. I would assume it doesn't make it better.
No, it does not.
So,
Gordo, you got
you Gordo. Yeah, keep going, Gordo.
Yeah. No, I'm not as interested or invested in this fight. I just think it's interesting. I think that this fight is predicated on the fact that people expect Mike Davis to get takedowns. I think that if it's a striking affair, there's no way that Mike Davis is minus 180. And although that Mike Davis, we've seen on the regional scene, has takedowns, we haven't seen it recently. The guy has not shot takedowns. We don't even know what this guy looks like off this layoff either. There's so many unknowns that make it almost impossible for you to back Mike Davis here in this spot. I think it's a much closer fight than the line entails. However, no bet for me because if Mike Davis wrestle, he has the tools to look minus 200, minus 300. No problem. So I think Mike Davis wins this fight. However, value on the Slava Claus side, DraftKings wise, give me Slava. Either way, though, I think it'll be a fun fight. I think that you can't go wrong enjoying this fight. I think that from a betting perspective, though, if you're holding a Mike Davis ticket at -180, you're going to be screaming at your TV for him to shoot takedowns. Like Slaviklaus is the coach of striking.
Which to your point, that's kind of what Mike Dave. Not only will he use it to change pace in a fight if he feels there's an opening, but he'll use it if he gets hurt. So I do think that it will prove just effective enough. But like you're saying, like who wants to hold a chalky ticket when it's gonna be way close, 29-28 type decision, like close fight. This might be my pick for like fight of the night type bonus situation. Like this is some good shit. Papa Chuck, thanks for popping in, buddy.
Yo, what's going on, Papa Chuck? Yeah, hell yeah. Daz in the chat as always. Mushroom here too, of course. So yeah, I think ultimately here comes Slaviklaus. Here comes Slaviklaus.
Oh, I'm wearing my Slaviklaus shirt. He sees you when you're drinking.
So yeah, I mean, we're almost at that season. Holy shit. Wow, we're really flying along in the year. And I think at plus 155, it's worth a responsible sprinkle. I wouldn't say go crazy here. But,
this whole card screams don't go crazy. As much as we all miss UFC and gambling on the UFC, like this fight is like it has. I saw a tweet. It has some of the oldest fighters in the UFC.
Oh,
like what
was crazy?
Yeah, like everybody's. Oh, and I guess like that's a perfect segue to this fight. But we've had some of the oldest fighters on this card, so it's just like you don't really know where these people are in their mentality coming into these fights. Like somebody like Alexei Oleinik, we know is a warrior. He's like, I see challenges at the heavyweight division still. I'm like, okay, guy, you're 45. But I love that he wants to keep fighting. Like we love, I guess watching you fight. So Boa Constrictor, Lear Latifi, the Sledgehammer, right? Lear we haven't seen in a while. I believe they had booked this fight before they did. It got canceled earlier this year because Latifi withdrew, right? I think Latifi's always got like some sort of neck injury or some bullshit going on, but they literally waited 6 months to do that, which I would imagine that Oleinik is generally not a fan of because he's somebody that likes to stay active.
Jew, what's going on?
What's up, Jew?
Stop pumping Slava. I bet 3 units on Mike on ground. Slava seems not as good as we thought. I get it.
Yeah, his takedown defense is trash, but we've seen him just get up, and we know that Mark DeCasey's wrestling is fairly elite level.
But
back to this fight, which is probably the opposite of elite
it's
level.
So Ilir Latifi, his nickname is the Sledgehammer. However, I have given him my own nickname, and I think it's very relevant for this fight. The Toad.
The Toad.
He has no discernible neck. So how do you go about choking him if there's nothing really?
Which that has nothing to choke.
Exactly. But on a non-facetious level, in all seriousness, Latifi has never been submitted in his career. He has submitted to strikes before, essentially. But those were body shots when he was cutting down to light heavyweight. Slava from Russia? ? I forget where exactly. I don't know, but he's a Team Alpha male now.
He's from the North Pole, you uncultured swine. Slaviklaus, what's wrong with you?
But I think Latifi at minus 175, you would have to literally be zonked out to be having me place that bet.
Yes, he's from Russia.
Okay, cool. There's no way you could place money on Latifi at minus 175. Alexei Oleinik at plus 150, you would also have to be extremely drunk to be playing Alexei Oleinik money line. The thing is, though, okay, so if we're joking around that Oleinik can't choke out Latifi, so what? He's going to win a decision? So it's like you're almost talking yourself into the Latifi side. It's just please don't actually bet a side on this fight. What I really think happens is we're seeing that over 1.5 at minus 130. Fight starts round 3 is plus 110. This is just going to be greasy, sloppy, ugly heavyweight. This is not going to be explosive finishing potential heavyweight. This is Latifi sitting in half guard or side control, while Oleinik tries to pull a reverse scarf hold from the bottom and pull half guard and try to get reversals and slide out the back door, while Latifi just tries to sit on him like a toad. And I mean, Guru, do you have anything else better besides fight starts round 3 at plus 110? Because
I can't even believe that that's plus money. Like, that's literally crazy. It doesn't even make sense. Ilir Latifi's last 2 fights have gone the distance. 3 of his last 4 have gone the distance. 5 of his last 7 have gone the distance, right? 1, 2, I don't know how to count. 3, 4. 4 of his last 6. I'm sorry, math is not my thing. 4 of his last 6 have gone the distance, right?
Yeah.
And even Alexei Oleinik has 2 in his last 5. Yeah. So what the fuck, man? Like, why not? This is gonna be a sloppy bum ass fight. So why not bet it to be a sloppy bum ass fight? It's going to round 3. Is that actually plus money?
Yes.
Wait, how is it? Is it really plus 110?
That's what I saw. So Dirty Rich, my dumbass, thinks Ilir is
like a liar. So let's see. I'm gonna check.
Go ahead. Hell yeah, Dirty. Addicted to comment. Oleinik tried to scarf hold Lewis for 2 minutes. He just had to give up. Yeah, he was like,
he doesn't have a neck either.
Exactly. Because Oleinik doesn't go for traditional normal chokes. He tries to do dumb shit to show off. It's like, yeah, that works against Jared Vanderaa, but like Latifi, I think, I just pray Latifi
Jared Vanderaa gave it to him. Do you remember that fight?
Yes.
We clearly, I don't even I'm like, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm turning to TV. Why does he know what he's doing? And TV's like, I don't know. He had no clue what he was doing down there. It was wild. Dude, that actually is plus 110, guys. That's plus 110.
Wow.
That is not a lie.
Yeah, I am a genius. So.
That's unbelievable. I think you're getting 10 minutes of this bullshit. What do you think, Gordo?
I'm an optimist, but you guys are right. I don't know. I think that if you're not cheering for Alexei Oleinik, where did you go wrong, man? You got to cheer for a 45-year-old man. They'll pull off the impossible, choke the man with no neck. No, I have broken down this fight 3 times. I actually was at UFC Columbus, and I was so ready to see Alexei Oleinik, and then he just got the fight canceled, and I was forced to change 100 DraftKings lineups sitting in my seat waiting for the fights to start. I just hope this fight happens. I am going to be using bet credits, not something I'm not telling anybody to bet this, but I'll be betting Oleinik round 1 sub for fun.
Yes.
not financial advice, but just to cheer for him. In all seriousness, I think that you could take on DraftKings fight parlays Latifi to win and over 1.5 is plus 150. That's what I'd look at. I think that the fight goes over. The only way he wins, the only reason I'm not saying Latifi by decision is just because Oleinik's 45. You could easily walk on one of those bombs. So give me gun to my head and I had to pick a winner. Latifi should win this fight. However, I would be cheering my heart out for Alexei Oleinik.
Love it.
The spirit of mushroom calling out for the Oleinik scarf hold in the DMs.
Jesus Christ.
So, hey, listen, we'll be rooting for that. I would root for that. I would definitely root for that. That's why I can't bet Latifi. And realistically, this is where you go to grandma's house, dig around the couch cushions.
I'm not even that's your degeneracy, bro. I think we have a legitimate handicapping in this fight to start round 3.
All right.
Other than unless Oleinik really does pull off the impossible with the sub, bro. We got what?
The Latifi special. Jew. Oh my God, Latifi and over 1.5 is plus 150.
What do you mean?
The Ilir Latifi special is Latifi. And over 1.5 is plus 150.
That was Gordo's play. Am I missing something?
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. So. My bad.
What the?
I'm sorry. I saw Jew in the chat.
Why don't you smoke some more? Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. I'm a jackass because I ended up getting latched on to his round 1 sub idea, and then I saw mushroom in the DMs. That's my bad.
God,
I apologize, Gordo. I got to show better respect to the friends that are actually in our house right now. Yeah. Well, okay. So, anyways, I'm sorry about that, guys. I think we'll slide right along. Our next fight here, we got Jessica Penne versus Tabitha Ricci. Plus 180 for Penne, minus 210 for Ricci. Over 2.5 is juiced, minus 285. under 2.5 at plus 225. Penne, 4-inch reach advantage, 4-inch height advantage, 6-inch reach advantage, 2-inch leg reach advantage. She's also 12 years older.
Hang on one second. I just got really thirsty all of a sudden. I don't know what happened.
Do you want to be that watermelon?
Oh my God. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Oh my goodness. Who doesn't?
Guru just wants a little hug. Just a little hug.
Just a hug. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, break it. So, anyways, whew, yeah, got a little sweaty in here. I'm glad Guru got a little drink.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I mean, as far as this fight goes, can Richie rely on the top control here like she has in the past? I mean, the striking, let's be real here. I mean, Jessica Penne, as far as the numbers go, has had like abysmal, as almost as bad as it could be type of efficiency type of stuff. But at the same time, it's like Richie is also losing some of those numbers by the statistics. So, yeah, I end up leaning towards the dog here with the size and experience. And I don't think Richie's going to be safe in top control as much as she would want to be. So I'd lean towards the plus 180, but at the same time, like, how could Jessica Penne's calves be actually healed from that fight against Dakota? So, Guru, go ahead.
I think it's time. Are you ready to pull it up? The hater alarm. You're sipping on that Haterade. You're sipping on that Haterade. What are you doing, man?
Jeez,
the hater alert, bro. I get it. It's a little chalky. I understand. Bro, the efficiency numbers on Jessica Penne are not just bad. They're Hall of Fame bad. It's abysmal bad. 45% striking defense. Not very good. That's not what you want to see. A 58% takedown defense. Not good. She's been taken down 5 times, faced 12 of them. She's getting the one thing where she does, TB, to your point, where she does well is the opponent control percentage is only at 10%. But that's why they're making this fight, bud. Tabitha Ricci is a spam wrestler. She's not going to stop. Tell me how she keeps her off of her. I don't care that it gets to the ground. I don't even care what happens. You're trying to hug me, and I want you to stop. How are you going to stop me from hugging you? You have to really hurt her, and I don't know that Penny's able to do that. Is my point. What happened?
Thirsty boy. No, do you guys like baseball?
Yes.
This is an ESPN announcement for Aaron Judge's 61st home run.
He just hit it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, man, fucking that was free money. DraftKings boosted him plus 100 again. Fuck. Damn it. All right, good for him. But I don't know why anybody really cares. I feel like they're giving this too much coverage.
Well, because nobody likes
bombs. They are. That's why I was making the joke of it.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
All right,
I appreciate it. Good for him.
Yeah.
Great season. Probably MVP. I don't know. I still kind of like the argument for Otani, but that's just me.
All right. I like your points though, man. I'm more of a thirsty boy than a hater on this fight, I'll be honest.
Fair enough.
I think this is a spot where I told you guys I have 3 bets locked in. This is number 2. I got Ricci at minus 170. I got a few units on her there.
I like it a lot better.
We are paying the hype train tax, really. I think that this fight should be around that range. I think that it is a spot where she does win this fight more times than not, but man, it should be close if I'm being honest. But let's look at it realistically. Ricci's younger. I think she's more athletic, more dynamic. I know people are talking about her putting her head in bad places. I don't think Penny's the one to really take advantage of it. Instead, this is a spot where I just see rinse and repeat, takedown, top control, better striker if she needs to as well. I don't like what I'm seeing from Penny recently, and I know that everyone's comparing her to what she used to be. She's not that fighter anymore. She's really slowing down, and I did think that Loopy beat her there, so I don't know how many people are taking that into an account when they're talking about Jessica Penne, but I think Tabitha Ricci is able to take her down. I think she's able to dominate from top control, win a dominant decision. I think from DraftKings, she's got the opportunity to pick her up, slam her down again over and over and over, scoring those takedown points, scoring those top control points. I think she wins this fight, and I'm happy with the spot I got her at. But I wouldn't count out Jessica Penne. She's fought the best of the best. I just don't think she has that same finish ability or ability to capitalize off the mistakes of Ricci here, and therefore it's baby shark season.
Yeah, no, 100. I agree completely. Like I was saying, like you whether she can get her down or not, how is Jessica Penne going to actively inflict damage to keep her off of her? And I just don't know that she can or will. So I'm on Ricci, but it's not something like maybe there it is. Maybe she's the parlay piece to Randy Rude Boy.
Well,
is that plus money?
Randy and Ricci.
Yeah, so I was gonna say it's either the Ricci Rude Boy or the Brown Shark. Like, I don't know, what do you want to call the parlay? But
why are you making them like a couple now? That's my wife that you're doing that with.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta relax, bro.
Go ahead, Guru. I'm like, go let her know about the arrangement that you worked out in your mind.
Yeah, chill. Anyway, she's
actually that parlay who rented out the whole stadium tomorrow or on Saturday.
Exactly. I had my boy Mark hook it up, bro.
First class.
Up in the sky. It's minus 106 that parlay on DraftKings at the moment, and on FanDuel. I don't even know who's in this parlay. Randy and Ricci. Wow, yeah, way less. Minus 117.
Yeah, so we'll see if we got a third piece somewhere.
I think we do.
We just might. Well, I can tell you one thing. It's not going to be in this fight. Joaquim Silva versus Jesse Ronson. Yeah, quite honestly, I mean, like, I don't have a legit breakdown on this one for you guys, because I mean, there's only so many hours in a week and school and work, and like, you have to really choose where you want to invest your studying time. And I'm not even going to BS you guys. I'm not betting this one, but like minus 145 Silva. Why would you ever do that? And plus 125 Ronson for a guy that's 0-3 in the UFC with one fight that he decided to take steroids for to get the win, and then they took it off his record. So yeah, against Dalby. So so go ahead. I mean, Guru, maybe did you do a little bit better on this one?
I'm not really, but I didn't necessarily do better on it, but I can bullshit. So let me give you guys a little bit of bullshit for just a couple of seconds. Jesse Ronson is somebody that has has shown to have decent power, but again, who knows if that's the steroids or him. It's his second UFC stint, so that's kind of an interesting thought, right? And then Joaquim Silva is somebody who is similarly kind of old now at 33 years old, gets knocked out in 30 seconds by Ricky Glenn after his near 2-year layoff after getting knocked out by Nasrat Haqparast. So, Nasrat has kind of shown himself to be very much a decision machine. So that's like, yeah, he's got some power, but that's not a good look. And then again, you take 2 years off and you get knocked out by Ricky Glenn coming off hip surgery. Like, and now it's been another year. And what the fuck am I to expect from you? You're not going to get knocked out by Jesse Ronson here? Why the fuck not? And Jesse Ronson, how am I to trust you to do much of anything? I mean, I guess he fought, and that's why I guess I would take Jesse Ronson. He fought Rafa Garcia. We kind of like Rafa Garcia. That's not a bad fighter. And he doesn't really do much. He gets subbed in round 2. But I think it's fair to say that, Rafa's maybe somewhere maybe a level above him. So whatever, dog or pass. I don't even know if I want to dive to grandma's couch cushions to play on Jesse Ronson though. So pass. What do you got for us, Gordo? Maybe something a little juicier?
You guys forgot this is the only Canadian on the card. This is one I got to talk about, right? I have to dive into.
We brought the right guy in.
Yeah, no, I actually think this fight's gonna be pretty fun. I think it's a fight of two guys who aren't great, who are gonna go out there and swang and bang, and hopefully someone drops down. I think that the under is the way to go on this spot. I think that these guys are probably gonna go out there and swing for the fences. And although Jesse Ronson has not looked great, his nickname makes up for it, right? The body snatcher is pretty cool. No, but in all seriousness, he's a guy who went out there. He got headbutted last time, clash of heads. I see you make a face there.
Breaking news.
No, knee to the face. What?
No, I made a face. Dana White took to Twitter and denied that Mark Zuckerberg is renting out the Apex facility.
Maybe it's not Zuckerberg. Maybe it's Meta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like the company, not him.
Yeah, that'd
personally.
be like a phrasing purposes. All right, that's fair.
That sounds like a Dana thing to do.
As you were saying before, you were so rudely interrupted by somebody.
Yeah, no, I think it's a spot where you have a guy, Joaquim Silva, who has not looked great, has been knocked out to 2 southpaws in a row emphatically, facing another southpaw. I know you say orthodox there, Ross. I think he's a southpaw, right?
Oh shit! Yeah,
I think he might be. He switched stance for sure. I think he's a guy who's going to go out there and he's going to try to put the leather to the face of Joaquim Silva. I don't think he has that same durability he used to. If he is going to lose to a guy who's got the ground game that Silva does, I do think that it's path to victory. Either way, I see this fight finishing. DraftKings perspective, Ronson's a dog, but I will be playing the under, that's for sure. But after picking a side, how can you be confident in either side, really? I think that at like the plus 140, plus 150 side, I get it for Ronson, just for the immeasurables, like the more durability, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think you can be confident either side. Just give me the under.
Thank you so much for saying that, because I really that was my handicap too, and I don't know why I got distracted off of it. You have to bet that one of these guys kill each other. Like that is the play, because all their fights have ended by finish. Like at least as of recently, like his last 4, he even had a finish with Nicholas Dalby, and Dalby goes to decision with like everybody.
Dalby's like Christoph Jotko.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? So to get a finish out of him is crazy. I mean, it literally was steroids, but yeah. So I like that a lot. I actually think that's going to find our way onto the bet sheet.
All right. Well, here we go. We made it to our next one.
Foreshadowing.
We got Christoph Jotko versus Brendan Allen. Wow. So the real question about this fight is the over 2.5 is somehow only minus 190 when, as Gordo already alluded to, Mr. Jotko loves fighting himself to a decision. Out of his, what he's got, he's got a couple knockout losses, a couple, one submission loss, but I mean, the dude's got like 17 decision wins in his career, where he only has like 5 knockouts and 2 submissions. So even back on the regional scene, he was a captain decision, and especially so at the UFC level. 24 total fights, and 16 of them have come at this in the UFC. I was picking Mearshart last time out, so, shame on me. But coming back in this spot here, I mean, I see Brendan Allen at a plus 100, and I think that's a pretty tasty look. It should be a pretty even fight as far as it goes on paper, but I think even that just a little bit of dog value on, I don't think Christoph Jotko could just rely on those lay and pray takedowns or clinch opportunities as much as he was able to in other spots. I think Allen is a much savvier grappler, at least for the first couple rounds, where his cardio is going to be fresher. Maybe in the third, I could see Jotko and his cardio doing well. So maybe we're looking at a sketchy split here. But the moral of the story is I think Allen is going to be the more impactful striker on the feet. It is cool to see, actually Jotko's got a 2-inch reach advantage, whereas Allen's going to be 1 inch taller. They match up really well across the board. So ultimately, betting this fight to go the distance is probably a safe thing to do. Slightly chalky, but I'll lean Brendan Allen at plus 100. That's where I'm going to play.
Yeah, this fight is weird as fuck. I don't know, man. I just don't have too much of a fucking read on it, if I'm just being completely honest. It's super strange. I like the fact that Brendan Allen is coming off the win over not even really, dude. Jacob Malkoun. And Sam Alvey, man.
A close fight in the Malkoun fight, too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus, dude. I don't like that at all. I really kind of lean the other way, actually, if I'm just, like, trying to really think about it. I actually don't even understand the line. Like, Jotko has won 5 of his last 6, his only loss being to Sean Strickland, where he was just outpaced on the feet by a way better striker. Brendan Allen's not necessarily a better striker than Jotko. Brendan Allen just
all my notes on Brendan Allen are mostly like negative ones, where it's like he gets hit, he doesn't move his head, his cardio suspect. Like I don't really like. I just don't dig it at all. So I don't get it. I'm on Jocko, I guess. I don't get it. What do you? Can you?
I only have
give me
one
something?
bet you can make. I can only have one bet you can make on this fight, and that is Allen finish only at -160. I don't think you can play a side really, but I don't think you can also surpass the fact that they're saying that Jotko has just as good of chance of finishing this fight as Allen. No, I mean Allen's jiu-jitsu is the real deal.
Are you worried about his chin? I feel like he's chinny.
From Jotko though?
Jotko.
Dude, but from Sean Strickland though?
No, yeah, but Strickland is a volume guy, and also he stuffed his takedowns and he treated him like a little boy. Jotko doesn't do that shit. He just doesn't. He doesn't pop you in the mouth and go, sit down, you little bitch. Like, he doesn't. Strickland was there to put a beating on Brendan Allen, who also had a tough weight cut.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, who's to say he doesn't have a tough weight cut this time?
Jotko has not been, like, he's been to the scorecards his last 6 fights, got knocked out by Tavares and Hall. The last time he knocked somebody out was in 2016 against Tamdim McElroy. Yeah, that is his only finish in the UFC and only one of 2 finishes amongst a 24 win.
Where is that?
He has 2 finishes in 24 fights.
Yeah.
And the other one was in 2012 on the regional scene.
Yeah, that's bad.
Well, what the other guy that finished?
He fought Alan Amedovski and didn't finish Alan Amedovski.
Right? All right. That's a good point. All right, you sold me. So it's going the distance. So what are we betting? What did you say we got?
I'm taking Allen finish only or Jotko decision only. I don't think that. I think it's a pretty binary fight. I think that Jotko is going to win the minutes. Allen's going to win the moments. Is Allen going to be able to take that step up? Probably not. But I can't cap Jotko at the same percentage of finish equity as I can for Allen. Maybe I'm wrong. What's the Jotko finish only?
Decision is plus 150 is nuts to me.
That's not bad.
What
about
what did you say?
Decision
and Mushroom saying Jotko couldn't finish
decision
one
only minus
lunches.
Decision only minus 175.
Jotko couldn't finish his lunches.
No.
Well, the one thing I will give Allen is he doesn't have to worry. The one thing I will give Allen is he doesn't have to worry about that power coming down his way. He actually has decent evasive footwork and movement that he could be able to, like, he beat Punahele Soriano based on his footwork and his ability to move around the cage. Wouldn't put it past him to win the decision. I don't think it's likely. I just think there's more chance of Allen winning a decision than Jotko is to find a finish. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So this is a fight you should completely pass on from a betting perspective. But if you have to place a bet,
that means so much to me.
Brendan Allen.
I felt so shitty when I didn't have like a strong read, and to hear you say it's a must pass is like that's really good to hear. It's vindicating for me anyway.
Brendan Allen is like nightmare fuel for me, man. Betting wise,
thank you.
Yes, he's on the no bet list, and Jotko too.
Yeah, Jotko's tough. Jotko's tough. I mean, and when we get to this fight, it doesn't exactly get much easier. If I'm just being honest. So anybody listening, shout out for you listening. Share it around, retweet, like if you haven't already. Check out Gordo as well, killing it, obviously. Wow, look at these pretty binary with these. Where the each colors, person wants to get it, huh?
Yeah, so I get it. You see it jump off the page, but it's like Felipe Lins garnered all of his grappling stats against who? Your boy Marcin Prachnio. It's like, all right, so we can go ahead and discount all of those numbers right away. But I'm dead ass. Whereas Maxim Grishin, all those striking numbers came against like some legit competition. And also he was getting grappled by a guy like Marcin Tybura up a weight class on short notice, whereas Felipe Lins was grappling Marcin Prachnio. So, okay, I think you already see where I'm going. Maxim Grishin minus 180, Felipe Lins plus 155. I'll call it out. There may be some bias, but we're not going with the hater alert because I think it's fucking justified. Felipe Lins, I say this respectfully, but fuck you. It's been terrible. It's been terrible.
Let's call it out. Now we need to sound the hater alert. Who was on Marcin Prachnio last fight? Raise your hand.
No, I didn't bet it.
Yeah, what did you start? Come on.
Yeah, I'm sure I took Marcin Prachnio just because Okay, well, Felipe Lins finally decided to go, oh, look, I remembered I have a black belt. Oh. Okay, great. You did it. But now you're facing Maxim Grishin. That's a different level fighter, a guy that arguably won against Dustin Jacoby. No. I really thought that you have a good argument on Maxim Grishin coming away with that victory. His losses against Magomed Ankalaev, that's on the regional scene, round 4 knockout. The dude's got survivability. So Lins is not knocking him out, in my mind. Also, we've never seen Lins actually throw a punch at the UFC level. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm on a Dwight Grant level right here.
What are you talking about right now? He's at least won a fight. And a PFL millionaire.
I know, but it's basically he was juicing at PFL, drops down a weight class to go to the UFC. Or no, went up a weight class, I guess, and now he's back dropping down to light heavyweight all over again. Because he was at heavyweight and he fought Arlovsky and stuff. So it's like the dude's been going back and forth, and him making the cut, like he looked a lot better. I just think like Grishin, he's not going to have that size advantage. He's not going to have a huge wrestling advantage or anything like that. I think Grishin is extremely solid all around and should have him covered. And I don't know if Grishin necessarily finishes him or anything. So I'll go with the special. It's just DraftKings doesn't have the lines up. So Grishin and over 1.5. I'm looking for it, but right now the fight's over 2.5 is a -140. I like this fight to go the distance. Grishin by decision, but I think you can get plus money on Grishin and over 1.5. They just I don't know what it is yet. So we're waiting on you, DraftKings. So Guru, go ahead, man. I'm done being a hater.
Are you though? Are you ever done being a hater?
No, never. There's always a couple.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. I don't like that he was knocked out by Tanner Boser. It's a bad look, but I guess he should be fine. Yeah, I like Grishin.
Who? Felipe Lins?
Yeah.
Who are you saying got? Well, you're saying you think Grishin would knock out Lins because Lins got knocked out by Boser?
It's just a little. I mean, obviously he was up at a heavyweight, but Boser shouldn't even be a heavyweight. I know he hates
bulldozer.
Yeah, the bulldozer, Boser, man.
Yeah, but I think you could see
fellow countrymen.
Well, at least Boser fucking throws 4 times the amount of strikes per minute that Felipe Lins does.
Yeah, that's fair. I like Grishin here. I just,
there you go.
Nothing prop wise that really interests me. I guess really, I like the over 1.5, like you said. I don't love it. I like it. He likes it. He doesn't love it.
All right, Gordo. What do you think, man?
You know what? This is a weird fight because I like to go back and research, and the Felipe Lins of the PFL he died. He does not exist anymore.
No. No.
So I don't know what kind of drugs he was on. I don't know what kind of supplements he was taking. But right now, we have to cap this fight at what these fighters are looking at right now. And I do not think -180 is wide enough for Maxim Grishin, if I'm being honest. I've not played it yet. I don't know if I should because it's kind of a low-level affair. I just do think that Maxim Grishin should be a lot wider. I capped him at -275, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not a fan of Felipe Lin's skill set. Like you said, anybody gets knocked out by Tanner Boser cannot be trusted. Either way, though, am I going to get there in this kind of fight? Probably not. But the pick is going to be Maxim Grishin with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, because you do have to worry at some level on Grishin's takedown defense if he all of a sudden decides to actually use it.
D1 wins, right?
Right, if he starts spam wrestling all of a sudden, it could be interesting. But you're right, man. I like the way you handicapped that.
I'm almost considering third piece, but I think you get enough value from the over 1.5.
Yeah, that's a good point. Both are good points.
Because wait for it.
Wait for it.
So okay, our next fight here, not this one, but wait for it. So our next fight here, we got our girl, man, cashed out for me big last time. Julia Stoliarenko with the submission game. What was that, like a 40-second armbar that she threw up on Jessie Jess? I love her too. I love Jessie Jess.
Oh, jeez.
But she's got 0 submission defense in the armbar game. So hopefully she shores that up at some point. But we got Chelsea Chandler here coming in -105 against now Julia Stoliarenko misses 1-4 in the UFC. Is a -115 here against, okay, listen, fool me once with Nick Maximov, shame on me. Or shame on you, but is it going to be shame on me this time for thinking Chelsea Chandler should have good submission defense because she's with Nick Diaz Army. Is that stupid?
Army, bro.
Is Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu? We're thinking Chandler should be able to come out and survive the armbar attempts. And I mean, listen, Julia is tough as fuck. So I think, over 2.5 minus 165 or fight goes the distance could be very reasonable as long as Julia doesn't get a sub. So once again, here we go. This is going to be the test. So if Chandler gets subbed, I will never again trust a Nick Diaz protege to have good submission defense at the UFC level. Okay, is that a deal that we can make together on this show? Because Nick Maximov, come the fuck on, man.
Yeah, that was bad. That was
okay,
bad,
all right. Go ahead, Guru.
No, I don't know. I don't really have too much other than I know why this fight's a catchweight fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's because Chelsea Chandler's fucking huge. She's really more of a featherweight.
Huge.
She's fucking jacked.
Huge.
And yeah, I think Julia Stoliarenko is kind of a one-trick pony in terms of armbar or bust. So I do like Chelsea Chandler to avoid the armbar. She does like to get into mount and stuff and throw elbows though, so it could be very interesting. But she's got some good ground and pound. I actually like her to inflict some damage. She doesn't just sit on top and be stupid. At the same time, she was searching for her own armbar and got flipped over by what's her face? I think it was Olivia Parker fight. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, Gordo, what are you thinking?
You know what? This fight's actually be a lot of fun, if I'm being honest. I actually think it's gonna be a pretty fun fight. Funny enough, maybe it's a hot take. I don't know, but betting perspective,
yes.
Pass. Like, I cannot get a read on this. You know what? They don't even have the salaries out for DraftKings.
Yeah. And, no props either.
Yes, and I was doing my videos earlier, and I completely forgot to talk about it just because I told myself there's no way I can bet on this fight. However, that under prop is looking juicy. Like, that fight doesn't go. It should be a bit higher than that. I don't know. Plus 130 right now. Fight doesn't go to decision. That is what is looking like the way to go. But again, I can't bet on this fight. Like, there's so many intangibles here. I shouldn't be doing it. But you look at a girl who's armbar bust, a girl in Julija Stoliarenko, in her 6 losses, she's been finished 3 times. I could see that. I just think it's going to be a very hectic pace fight. I think if you're holding that Chandler ticket, every armbar that goes up, you're clenching. You're just clenched sitting there. If you can get these books, you can bet Stoliarenko by armbar, specific method of victory. You put something on that because that's all she does. But bettings-wise, no pick at all. Under would be the way to go if I had to, but we're going to stay off of this one.
All right. Very good. So, yeah, I mean, hey, let's keep this train rolling. We're doing great. We made it to our opening fight of the evening, and Randy Costa minus 285, Guido Canetti plus 240. I mean, listen, me and the bookmakers both agree you don't really get credit for knocking out Chris Moutinho. It's just how it is. Especially when you're 3-5 in the UFC overall, and you're 42 years old facing the 28-year-old fighter who. Oh wait, what are the other advantages? We got 3-inch height, 5-inch reach, 1.5-inch leg reach. Randy Costa, he's never ever been the distance. So why would you expect him to go there now? And if you don't feel comfortable enough adding Randy Costa as the third leg to our juicy boy of the week, then what you could do is just say this fight to end by knockout, but fucking DraftKings doesn't have the lineup yet, so I can't share what it is with you guys. So go ahead, Guru. You go now.
I was wondering if Randy Costa could be one of those greasy legs.
That was it. Third leg, baby.
So, I just don't know how Guido does it. I mean, I guess I do know how Guido does it. Guido does it by somehow weathering the storm of Randy Costa and finding the button himself, but I just don't know that he inflicts enough damage or will be able to even hit them with such a range disadvantage here. So I think that they're finally giving Randy Costa a winnable fight. I just don't think he's good enough yet, Costa. Unfortunately for him, the Tony Kelly fight kind of showed a lot that you can just really overcrowd him and start to hurt him. Which, if you're Guido, that's a pretty decent way to try to win. I just think Randy's going to continue to learn from that kind of mistakes, and I also don't think that Guido Canetti is anywhere near as good as Tony Kelly, and that is saying a lot because Tony Kelly is no longer in the UFC. So, Gordo, what do you got?
All right, let's talk, guys. Let's talk.
Let's break it down.
If you guys are not aware, I am a participant in the Lock of the Night Challenge, and on my show, every time there's a Lock of the Night Challenge play, we put on these really cool sunglasses, these Pit Vipers that I'm gonna throw on.
Oh, hold on,
and
I'm
bringing them onto the show.
That's
you,
it.
You want a pair? You want to throw it on too?
Oh no, I don't. But you're getting the solo. Let's go.
If I had a pair, I would throw them on.
This is you get to see my setup too. This is going to be my Lock of the Night play. It's pretty simple. This fight is not going all 3 rounds, and it's purely because of who Randy Costa is. I think the under 1.5 is the way to go. I'm waiting for them to open. The fight doesn't start round 3. That has to be a big bet for me. Look at this fight, guy. Randy Costa had 4 minutes of fight time before coming into the UFC. This guy comes out shot out of a cannon. Every fight that goes over 0.5 rounds, he loses, and he has no cardio, and that is why he loses. It's a spot where he's got to fight in 40. He's got to win in 46 seconds, 11 seconds, a minute and 11 seconds, 42 seconds, 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and 41 seconds. This guy is a kill or to be killed fighter, and that's what you want to see when you're betting on people like this. Is Guido Canetti a guy who's got insane finish ability on his own side? Not too much, but he's got good power. But he's 42. And that's what all I got to see is a guy who's been finished in the first round multiple times before. It's pretty simple. Costa's going to get out of there in round 1, or he's going to fade in round 2. And that is how I'm going to play this one. Pretty simple. Simple as that. That is how it's going down. Not too spicy. I think it's a very popular opinion. The one last thing I will add is when we are looking at the way that the UFC is structuring these fights, I made the under in the first fight of the night, my lock of the night, several times, just because they like violence to open up the night. They like to get those people entertained, and it's worked out. When I was there live at 278, Altamirano versus Da Silva, that's the fight to open up the card. It was violent. It's going to be violent as well. Give me the under 1.5. Let's keep that streak going.
Damn. I'm hoping that Gordo's cashing on his lock of the night play. I can't argue, man. So
I like it.
Hell
you know what,
yeah.
guys?
I think, tell me.
I am, I'm going to jinx it right here. I'm 23 of my last 24. So if I lose, I'm not coming on my neck. I'm not coming to your show anymore.
Oh, no.
Wow. I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. I was like, oh, no, it's too real now.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, Jays. Oh, my goodness.
Jeez. I mean, that kind of brings us along full
I think
maybe
we should parlay. Maybe that's crazy. Maybe you parlay this fight and the maybe the Joaquin Silva Ronson fight not to go distance for a little violence parlay, or you could even parlay the maybe that Alan Jocko fight to go the distance because we think that will go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's going on. What I'm doing betting wise, I'd play that straight too. But what I'm doing is I'm gonna play the under, or I'm gonna take the fight doesn't start round 3. That's gonna be the big bet, and then just in case that he can serve like that. Costa has improved his cardio for another 2.5 minutes. I'm also playing the fight doesn't go parlayed with Randy Brown.
Nice.
That's good. I like that a lot too.
I don't know what it's going to be on DraftKings. On Betway, the fight doesn't go as -250, which parlays up. Sorry, guys.
That's actually not as bad.
Parlays up with Brown for -120.
Huh. So the ones I try to stay away from are those -400, -600, -800. I feel like those never hit in comparison to when you see them and what they should hit at. But a -250 for a fight that I feel like should be a -1000, that's one where I'm like, okay, I think there actually is value on a chalky leg there. I like that.
For sure.
All right. Well, without further ado, I mean,
love it. Listen, this card, if we're just going to be honest, we're going to call a spade, right? They're filling cards here because ESPN has that contract and they stack these pay-per-views, right? UFC 280, UFC 281, absolutely fucking stacked cards. So I think that's why you're seeing a little bit of the let's just get all these veterans in here type shit. Or what was it? The card a couple cards ago, it was 12 Dana White Contender Series vets at some point. you're just kind of seeing them pump out cards. And hey, I love it. I love betting on live fights, and I love watching live fights. So I'm certainly excited for this one. Like I said earlier, we have a week off next week, which is, again, super fucking rare. Very, very strange. Not used to that type of stuff. And then we come back the week after for, kind of an interesting card again with Alexa Grasso taking on Viviane Araújo. So certainly an interesting matchup there. One we'll be excited to dive into. But man, Gordo, anything you want to say, man, before we log off, man? Thanks so much for coming on, man. You killed it, brother.
No, I had a great time hanging out with you guys, talking baseball, talking football, talking hockey, all this stuff. It was fun coming on the channel. So thank you so much for having me on. One more thing I'm going to add, and this is just because we love Mushroom. I did cook up a parlay for him just because I knew he'd ask. Yes. As you guys all know, if you guys want to know, my DMs are always open if you want to talk fights at Gambles Gordo on Twitter. I know Gambles Gordo, not Gordo Gambles. It's tricky. What we're going to do for my parlay, though, I got a risky one for Mushroom because that's the way that Mushroom likes. He likes those big prop money, those big plus money. Sorry. So this one's going to be a bit risky, but I actually like this spot here. So we're going to take Jesse Ronson to win by KO or TKO at plus 375. That's going to be the first leg.
It. Already love
That's a bit risky. We're going to take Jotko to win by decision at plus 150. And the last leg of the parlay, which is going to be a bit safer leg just to get us there, we're just going to take the under 1.5 in the Costo Canetti fight. That brings us to plus 1620. There you go, Mushroom.
What?
I know. Get the DM
Holy
right
shit!
We're going to Grandma's couch cushions for that one. Grandma! We're going to Grandma's couch cushions for that one, boys. I love that. That's excellent.
Let's go.
Other than that, I'm currently in the process of editing my video. I actually have my first hockey fantasy draft of the year in about 15 minutes that I got to go do. I just looked.
Oh, shit.
I got the first overall pick. Tough question. Do I take Sidney Crosby first over? I'm just playing. Oh, my Don't goodness. Worry. Other than that, you can find all my work at Plays and Fade Sports on YouTube. I will be posting not only my DraftKings breakdown there, but also a full card breakdown with Lou Betcha tomorrow night. But I thought I'd come to your show first because, it's always been a lot of fun. And it definitely lived up to the hype. I enjoyed being on the other end of the screen. I always make sure to check you guys out. So it was an absolute pleasure. And I hope I can get on again sometime soon.
We'd love to have you back on, man. You're part of the family now for sure. So we'll be tuning in for you. We're really excited for that. Is Crosby is Crosby a round one pick still? I would imagine he's not.
He's projected to go 18th.
So round
two. If I'm lucky, maybe I can get it. But I'm first pick though.
Ooh. I don't know.
See, I don't know.
Who's all my buddies, so they know I like Crosby.
Top 5 people is who your top 5 people make? Now, who's your top point guy? I forget his fucking name. I forget everything about him.
So it's McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon, Matthews, and then
Matthews. McKinnon is
also McCarr goes there.
That was the name I wanted. McKinnon for the fucking Avalanche. That's who you want. That dude just signed a major contract.
Yeah. Well, I got first pick. I'll take McDavid. It'll be good.
Yeah. McDavid, yeah. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Anyways, UFC wise, thank you so much for having me on. I gave out my lock tonight pick as well, so I'm gonna write down what time that is. I'll tweet it out. It's going to be the exclusive place you can get it.
Ooh, what a guy.
Excellent. Wonderful.
What a guy. Love you,
Thanks
Gordo.
so much for coming on. Hey, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Dana White Contender Series. That's a wrap for this season. So we'll catch you in 2 weeks. Literally 2 weeks. Araújo and Grasso. Can't wait.
That was my birthday present, Alexa Grasso, after my birthday.
Oh, my goodness. And hey,